Next is Senator Mogeni Eric Okongo, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was waiting for Senator Okech to tell us whether he's a fish farmer or a sugarcane farmer, so that we benefit from his experience as a farmer. And Mr. Speaker, I heard that his chairman is the chair of roads and the vice chair CIPIC. I'm appealing to him to have sympathy to his neighbors from Gusii and donate one of the slots to his brother, Senator Onyonka. You know, you can't have all these positions while your brother has nothing. So I appeal to Senator Okech to consider giving his brother from Gusii, Senator Onyonka, the lesser position of vice chair.
Does he have those powers to do
that? I'm sure if he sends signals that he's willing to donate that seat.
Senator Okech.
Mr. Speaker, you know, there are things that can be said in a very slight way, but they can easily throw us passions. The fact is, number one, it will be important for my neighbors in Kisii to understand that, number one, Senator Onyonka is not in those two committees. The Road and Transport is not a member, and he's also not a member of CIPIC. So even if I was willing to give him one of those slots, he wouldn't qualify because members vote there. But most importantly, they also must understand that my employer, when I'm in this house, is actually the senator of Nyamira. He is the senator who employs us because he's a commissioner in the PAC. And therefore, he has got a lot of power, the real power. Leave alone this man that is small. But it's important that they know that I was among the people who really fought hard that my brother, Senator Mogeni, gets that position where he is. So, my neighbors, I'm good with you. I've already given you a serious commission who can employ myself and other people in this parliament in the person of Senator Mogeni.
Okay, Senator Mogeni.
Yes, thank you. I'm ever grateful, of course, to Senator Okech. He put in some support to ensure that I get this position of commissioner, including my neighbor, my good friend, Senator Cheruiyot. Mr. Speaker, if there is a bill that is so important to the farmers of Kenya, it is this particular bill. When we were having BBI, if you remember, Mr. Speaker, sir, because you are in the other house, we had put in a paragraph in that BBI amendment bill, which said that the government will pass a legislation that will guarantee farmers some minimum returns. So this is a debate that has been with us for many, many years. And we need to do something, Mr. Speaker, to show that we care about our farmers and that we indeed want to put money to the pockets of our farmers. But I hope we will have an opportunity to sit down with the sponsor of this bill, my good friend Senator Veronica Maina, so that we make it a bill that indeed and truly guarantees our farmers some minimum returns. Because, Mr. Speaker, you will not put a smile to the farmer, to the faces of our farmers, unless you are telling them that this will be the price you will get for 1 kilo of Mira. I hope, Mr. Speaker, we can also refer to Mira farmers as those who need to get government support. And, Mr. Speaker, I've had an opportunity to just go through the bill and have a number of concerns. The first concern, Mr. Speaker, is that we'll be getting it wrong if we pass this obligation to our county governments. My understanding of our Kenyan Constitution is that the first schedule, paragraph 29, leaves policy on agricultural issues with the national government. And the person who should take the burden of cushioning our farmers, Mr. Speaker, is the national government, not counties, Mr. Speaker. Because if farmers, for example, tea farmers in Bomet are getting low bonus returns, like we got in the last financial year, Nyamira, and Kericho, Mr. Speaker. We cannot throw that burden back to the county government of Bomet, Kericho, and Nyamira, and Kisii. It cannot work, Mr. Speaker. The person who should cushion farmers, and you can, there are many best international practices where we can borrow from, Mr. Speaker. You go to the United States of America, and I was privileged in the last parliament to have traveled as a guest of the United States of America, a committee that was chaired by Senator Mbito, Senator of Trans Nzoia then. And Mr. Speaker, we learned that in the US, so serious is this issue of guaranteed minimum return that they will tell farmers that we have set a minimum corn price, for example, at $3.75. And each farmer is assured that at the end of that season, when you sell your corn, you will be guaranteed 3.75. If the market drops and you get a return of $3, the government chips in, Mr. Speaker, and pays for you, not states, but the federal government. They have not thrown that burden to the 50 states in the United States of America. That's why I would like us to sit down, or I'll sponsor an amendment, Mr. Speaker, so that this burden is taken by the national government, because it's the only one that has the financial muscle, Mr. Speaker, to take this burden from farmers and cushion farmers. In fact, Mr. Speaker, we learned that in the US, there is what they call federal crop insurance that is supposed to cushion farmers against adverse weather. And that's a risk even our farmers here face. You can see what's happening in northern Kenya counties, how drought has devastated farmers there. We know what happens when we have hailstones in Gusii region, Kericho region, and the likes. And what is interesting, and I want us to borrow from this practice in the states, is that the federal crop insurance is paid by the national government to the tune of 60% in the United States of America. So what we are proposing here, Mr. Speaker, I have to differ with the sponsor of this bill, where we are proposing that county assemblies in all the 47 counties will sponsor bills, as is proposed, to give guaranteed minimum returns for farmers. I'm sorry, this really may not work. The best way to cushion our farmers is to have a law that applies nationally, not a law that applies just to some counties. And then even the committee that is being proposed in part 5, where it is proposed that we have the CC in charge of agriculture, the CC in charge of finance. Now, let me ask Senator Cheruiyot, you are my neighbor there. How can you form a committee that does not bring on board the tea directors, for example? Because they are the ones who will set the prices. They are the ones who know what factories have earned, how much they are able to give farmers. So if we need to set up a committee, then I'll propose that we need a way of bringing in the bodies that are in charge of marketing and selling the farm produce, like KTDA. They choose maybe directors to sit in the body that will be setting the minimum prices. That's why I will emphasize in my submissions before this House that this thing cannot be done with this framework of saying that we use counties. It will best serve our farmers if we make this something that is done by the national government, so that all bodies that are involved in marketing, setting prices, can come in. For example, and this is something that many countries have done, in farmers, those who are in maize farming, I think the price is set by the National Cereals Produce Board, the whole country. So when a farmer delivers a sack of maize, they know this is the price. And I'm sure that when the government is buying, it's because it has set aside money to support maize farmers. Why can't the same be done for our tea farmers, Mr. Speaker? You know what we earned in West Kenya farmers were earning as little as 12 shillings a kilo for tea bonuses. Surely, how can somebody earn a living with 12 shillings per kilo? We should be very candid in this law and say the minimum price for green tea for any farmer in Kenya should not be less than 66 shillings, Mr. Speaker. And if, for whatever reason, whether there is challenges in terms of market out there, if the price falls below 66% to maybe 50, the government should chip in 66 shillings, Mr. Speaker. Look at what we have done to our judges. We have given them a fantastic retirement benefits through the law that was passed by the National Assembly. That's very good, and I support it. And we need our judges to be given a good retirement package because they do good work. But what are we doing as a country to cushion our farmers? Mr. Speaker, I attended the PG today, and I had a resolution was proposed and accepted that our governors, our MCAs, should also get a good retirement package. How I wish that these packages should also be extended to Kenyans, all Kenyans, including our farmers. If you go to Australia, where they have the superannuation fund that takes care of people in retirement, you will find a judge there, a farmer will be in there, a trader will be in there. So everybody, when you retire, you go home with something from the superannuation fund that gives decent living in retirement to all citizens of Australia. Another example, Mr. Speaker, where we can borrow from is what happens in South Korea, Mr. Speaker. In South Korea, again, the government has a very strong support system for the agricultural sector, where again it sets price guarantee for farmers. But again, it's not just about price guarantee for farmers, Mr. Speaker. There are also other factors that contribute to poor returns for our farmers, including opening imports that adversely affect the agricultural sector. And in South Korea, they have been very, very strict in terms of putting tariffs that discourage imports. In rice, Mr. Speaker, the tariffs can be as high as 500% tax, so that the farmer is sure that somebody farming rice out there will not import that rice and adversely affect the market for that farmer. That's why I'm making a very strong case, Mr. Speaker, sir, that this bill the intention is good, but the way it's been drafted, it will not be of benefit to the farmer. I've given you two jurisdictions. What happens in South Korea and what happens in United States of America. And in both of those jurisdictions, the support comes from the national government. In the US, it is done under the Ministry of Agriculture. In South Korea, it's again done by the Ministry of Agriculture. In terms of ways of cushioning farmers, Mr. Speaker, I agree that coming up with a subsidy plan is good. But unless we run this subsidy program in a manner that each farmer is benefiting, we will not get it right. I've seen subsidy fertilizer for our maize farmers, but I have not seen a subsidy fertilizer support for our tea farmers, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, we are still not being beneficial to the tea farmers. I'm speaking passionately for tea farmers, Mr. Speaker, because I'm also a tea farmer. And where I come from in Nyamira, we are small-scale tea farmers. We own between 0.5 hectares to 2 hectares. Not unlike you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and Senator Cheruiyot in Kericho, where you own several hundreds of acres. As we are small-scale farmers, the ones that really need support from the government of the day. Because the average income, Mr. Speaker, annually from these farmers will not exceed either 180,000 to 200,000. That's what they will use for school fees. That's what they will use for insurance, to pay SHA and the likes. Going again to some of the proposals in this bill, I don't know how it can work, the way it's being proposed in Section 7, that the committee should be setting prices every 6 months. No, that leaves the price very unpredictable. The best way is to say, we set the price and leave it for several years. Like the next 5 years, the price should be known. For example, as I said, if we say tea is 66 shillings, that should be there for a while. I don't know whether you have been lucky to go to Ghana, where our former colleague is, I think he's the ambassador, if I'm not wrong, in Ghana. And you see the way the government of Ghana supports cocoa farmers in Ghana. The way they do it is by setting a minimum price. So I will plead with my colleagues that the intention is good. We need to support our farmers. We need to have a guaranteed income, but let it be in a manner that is simple, that is clear, that talks to the shilling that the farmer will be expecting from a particular agricultural produce or crop. But if we leave it the way it's been drafted, Mr. Speaker, in this bill, we will not be solving the problem, and we'll be passing the burden to our county governments, and they don't have the resources. I've seen that the president has proposed 450 billion as an allocation to the counties. A very good gesture, but still not enough, Mr. Speaker. Even if we gave them that money, it will not be enough, Mr. Speaker, for them to be able to pay farmers in terms of cushioning them for poor prices. So I support this bill with the rider that at the right time I'll be moving amendments to have clarity, to push this obligation to the national government and not to the county government, and if possible to have a proper board that will deal with issues of minimum guaranteed price returns for our farmers. With those remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support.
Thank you, Senator Kongo Mogeni, Commissioner. Maybe for your information, in your contribution, you've made reference to where the leader of majority comes from, the county of Kericho as well as Bomet, to comprise large-scale tea farmers. You know, 98% of tea farmers in Kericho and Bomet are small-scale holders.